Loki Booby opens with a trippy shot of the TVA officers, spinning 360 degrees and fluidly re-entering the Keeper's door, transitioning into another dimension, another New York, demolished and consumed. Therefore, the boundaries of what was are now broken, and everyone's perspective are liquid-like and blended into what was once forbidden. Our Loki reawakens in the void and is greeted by the other Loki, who are hiding from a giant dangerous mist monster. The opening then plays, so this is the end of the road, a reflective episode focused on measuring the worth of who our characters has become, and how they react when encountering who they could be. We return to Sylvie, who takes Boss Lady's tempad, taunts her, and before she kills her, a deal is struck, as she reveals Loki is still alive. Pruning doesn't destroy, but throw them into the void where they can't grow nor interfere with the Keeper's plans.
When we prune a branched reality, it's impossible to destroy all its matter. So we move it to a place on the timeline where it won't continue growing.
As a result, an alliance forms out of a mutual desire for the truth. Boss Lady was the woman who took Sylvie from her home, the one that let her go because she was so frozen from her own inhumanity, but was also the one that shut off her own conscience to serve a lie and prune her own friend. Therefore, for a moment, we see her leave her job and become simply Renslayer, a human being.
Why? Because I want to know who's at the top of this. I want to know who lied to me.
However, her arrogance does outwit her sincerity. In contrast, Loki gets irritated by his own incarnations. Everyone is trapped, and the only reason why they're still alive is because, as Lokis, that's their defining attribute, reaffirming the wisdom Loki argued last episode.
Why are there so many of you?
Because Loki survive. That's just what we do.
We don't die. We survive.
And a truth that has transformed from a place of pomposity to loneliness. This is embellished by Kid Loki, who's in charge because he's the one who successfully killed Thor.
What was your Nexus event, Your Majesty?
I killed Thor.
Something he doesn't even seem to be proud of, nor our Loki. Although, to lighten the mood, we also see Mignola and Frog Thor in a jar for a second, so that's a bit weird. Our Loki is determined to return to the TVA, and a visual parallel is drawn between the TVA courtroom and the candy-crusted Loki base. Therefore, they're both a symbolic retreat for the uninitiated, a place that most people should grow out of, but those that settle in it don't. This is anchored by the following scene. Sylvie and Renslayer try to figure out where the Keepers are. Sylvie suggests not looking at the beginning, but at the end of time, beyond the void, due to her own experiences hiding in subterfuge.
So if all of this is still being written, whatever happens is just a new timeline. It would be impossible to start a Nexus event there. You could be completely undetectable.
That's it. That's the only place they could be.
But Sylvie knows something is off during their plan. Guards bust in, Renslayer retreats back to her old role as Boss Lady, and Sylvie chooses to prune herself in order to escape, leaving the guards confused, and Boss Lady hides it with her own dismissal. She's too arrogant to change.
And she's dead too.
Although speaking of being too arrogant to change, the various Loki refugees follow suit. Bold Loki lies about beating the Avengers, Alligator Loki ate the wrong cat, and neither of them seem reflective, except for Richard E. Grant.
I cast a projection of myself, so real, even the mad Titan believed it. Then hid as inanimate debris. After I faked my death, I simply drifted in space. Away from Thor, away from everything. Thought about the universe and my place in it. And it occurred to me that everywhere I went, only pain followed. So, I removed myself from the equation. Landed on a remote planet and stayed there in isolation, in solitude, for a long, long time.
But his loneliness began to sink in, and he left to see his brother, which caused the TVA to intervene. On one hand, he's who Loki could be if he continued to push others away for his own hubris, but on the other hand, alongside the other Lokis, they all triangulate under the banner of the God of Outcasts.
God of Outcasts.
They're people who have accepted their own failures with stubborn impotence.
I don't enjoy hurting people. I don't enjoy it.
I crave attention because I'm a narcissist.
After I vanquished Captain America, I claimed my prize. All 6 Infinity Stones.
I suppose it's because I'm scared of being alone.
I got lonely. To tell you the truth, I missed my brother. And I wondered if he missed me, if anybody else did.
Your father killed my brother.
As soon as I took my first steps to getting off the planet, the TVA arrived.
I do it because I have to, because I've had to.
Introspection is the practice of looking inwards to analyze our memories, thoughts, feelings, motives, and intentions. As human beings, it's the key to self-awareness and is crucial for psychological health. However, it's often a process that is actually pretty inaccurate, precisely because we often overlook the extent of our own thoughts and things that are unconscious. This is sometimes called illusion of authenticity. As Gilovich and Ross said, introspection typically reassures us that our judgments were correct and supported by sound reasons. At the same time, we are not particularly comforted when others assure us that they have looked into their own hearts and minds and concluded that they have been fair and objective. Our Loki, in contrast to all of them, has had his illusion of authenticity popped due to his experiences with Sylvie. As a version of him, her different judgment expanded his self-awareness. She showed him the capacity to pursue not power but justice.
Sounds terrifying.
Oh, she is. That's kind of what's great about her. She's different. She's not trying to take over the TVA, she's trying to take it down.
To break away from his own cliches. As a result, he tries to do what she did for him on them. He tries to inspire them.
And I could use all the help I could get.
But he fails and leaves. However, Vote Loki appears due to a series of extremely convoluted backstabs, so a fight erupts and is treated as the most childish thing ever. These are the boys Loki was and is no more, even face palms. A few Loki escapes, Richard E. Grant, Kid Loki and Alligator Loki, and they agree to help him to get Sylvie, but nothing more.
I believe she's our only chance of stopping the TVA.
That's good enough for me.
So they are the ones with the capacity to change. Sylvie then wakes up and she needs to escape, but for a second her enchantment powers touch the mist, giving her a glimpse of another world beyond the void, before being saved by Owen Wilson. Oh my god. They hang out, argue for a bit, but more importantly, reconcile. She reveals she's here for you-know-who.
When I preened myself, I thought I might be able to find Loki.
Aww. The Loki refugees continue to walk, but witnesses a giant battleship arriving and consumed. However, Hope arrives in a car. The people Loki used to be meets with the people who changed him, and he even frames it as such.
Us as a child, us in the future, and us as an alligator.
Loki is a whole person now. Someone who has successfully crossed the bridge of his own life, reassembled himself with new, greater meaning. Conversely, Boss Lady meets with Sylvie's aid in an attempt to resolve her existential crisis.
You were in the Timekeeper's chambers. They weren't real.
And why do you think that changes anything?
That changes everything.
I looked happy. What now?
The people need to know the truth.
No, the TVA needs stability. And until we can figure out what's going on, that is what it will get.
One believes in change, the other is too conservative for that. Therefore, she needs to believe there's more to this situation, more to Sylvie. But there isn't.
This isn't about protecting the TVA at all, is it?
Do it.
I just want to find whoever's behind all of this, too.
A fire rises and burns even hotter than before because the one that did change recognizes the vanity and insecurity of the other. She highlights,
You only want it. She needs it.
ironically, a distinction that separated who Loki was and is now. So the margins of morality has completely shifted. The Lokis and Owen Wilson then hang out for a bit in the most casual way ever, and his innate goodness spreads a seed for change in Richard E. Grant, just as our Loki did for him.
So just like that, you're turning on the very thing you devoted your life to.
It's never too late to change.
So it doesn't matter what world you're from, you can't not love Owen Wilson. Sylvie and Loki also have a romantic moment where he does the old blanket trick. They're both people that have changed each other by flashing a light into their own individual loneliness and fears. Sylvie grew up on the ends of 1,000 worlds, incapable of grounding herself with anything but her need for revenge. A mission that the perpetrators don't even remember.
I don't remember.
But she's got him now, a portal to a life she missed, the life that's now viewable.
Do you have any good memories?
Just one, really.
Loki reflects on the man he was, the man who betrayed the ones he loved to feel powerful, to hide his inability to love himself.
I betrayed everyone who ever loved me. I betrayed my father, my brother, my home. I know what I did.
And now they both say farewell to these limits. They reflect on what's next, which probably means she's going to die next episode. Therefore, this whole weird self-incest romance is effectively a metaphor for learning to love yourself in order to gain the capacity to love others. Wait, isn't that the same message as BTS? Everyone watches The Mist with a plan. The Lokis bid farewell despite the opportunity to leave. The King and the Sun have not developed into the Traveler, unlike our Loki. Owen Wilson uses Boss Lady's tempad to start the revolution.
Burn it to the ground! Thanks for the spark!
So, like the chariot that carried Loki to his destination, he's now no longer needed because Loki can walk on his own. So he stays with Sylvie to confront the mist, to go past the void, to find the truth of the Keepers. But it's not enough, so Richard E. Grant returns to create an illusion of Asgard, the home that belonged to his heart, the home he wished to return to, and the home he gets to see one more time before he's consumed. So the man who regrets gives the man that could a chance. It's very poetic. Sylvie then entrusts Loki to enchant the beast together. They hold hands, and through the power of love they do it, opening a door into the unknown. And shockingly, there's no mid-credit scene, so this is completely new unmapped territory. This whole episode, oddly enough, reminds me a lot of a quote from Neon Genesis Evangelion. The only one who can take care of you and understand you is you, yourself. So you must take care of yourself. It's a bit of a weird reference, I know. The antagonists of this episode are those that aren't willing to stop inflating their own judgment despite having entered a new realm, a new world that has contradicted everything they believe in. They became, literally, the king of the ashes, and the heroes are those that take it as an opportunity to look after themselves. And I mean truly look after themselves, not an impression of themselves that they have in their minds.
Maybe we could figure it out together.
Special thanks to everyone on Patreon, and rest in peace, Dick Donner. It's totally heartbreaking.